Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered why you sometimes feel a pang of regret, even when things didn't turn out all that bad? Well, this new study dives deep into that very feeling. We all know regret, that feeling you get when you think about a choice and wish you had done something different. Maybe you chose the risky investment and lost money, or maybe you picked the rainy vacation spot instead of the sunny beach. Psychologists and scientists have been looking at regret for a long time, but they often look at it in two different ways. Some see it as a kind of math problem the brain solves to make better decisions in the future, almost like a warning signal. Others see it more as an emotion, a feeling that can affect our mood and mental health. The problem is, these two ways of looking at regret, as a calculation versus an emotion, haven't really talked to each other much. Researchers who build mathematical models of regret can see how it shows up in brain activity, or helps us make better choices, but they don't always connect it to the actual feeling people experience. And psychologists who study that feeling usually don't dig into the exact thinking processes that create it. It is like two separate rooms in a house that rarely interact. But what if regret isn't just one thing? What if it is a mix of both the math and the feeling? That is exactly what this study wanted to find out. The researchers designed a clever experiment to see if they could bridge that gap. They wanted to understand how our internal predictions and expectations, the figuring things out part of our brain, might combine with the actual outcomes. The what actually happened part to create that subjective feeling of regret. So how did they do it? Imagine a game show where you have to pick between two levers, or in this case, two colored squares to win points. This is called the two-arm bandit task. The tricky part is the lever that usually gives you more points can suddenly switch. So you have to pay attention and learn which one is the better choice right now. The researchers had about 187 people play this game. Now, the participants were pretty good at this game. On average, they picked the arm they thought was going to give them more rewards about 71% of the time, showing they were actively trying to learn and adapt. But here is the really cool part scattered throughout the game. Every few turns, the game would pause and ask the players a question. It asked them, do you think you should have chosen the other option? This was their way of measuring that feeling of regret. They weren't just looking at the points earned or lost, but also at this internal feeling the players had about their choice. And what did they find? Well, first off, it wasn't a surprise that actually losing points made people feel more regret than winning points. That makes sense. If you lose, you are more likely to think you made the wrong choice. They also found that people regretted their choices more when they had picked the arm that was generally less rewarding, even if sometimes by chance that arm gave them a reward on that specific turn. This tells us that regret isn't just about the immediate outcome, but also about our overall understanding of how good or bad an option usually is. But here is where it gets really interesting. The researchers used a fancy computer model, a kind of artificial brain, to figure out what the players were predicting about the chances of winning or losing points before they even made their choice. Think of it as the player's internal.